welcome to the show, y'all. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, y'all. E-Lee and Uncle Ron. Let's go. Keeping it 100. Unfiltered. We the radio pundits and we're unfiltered. We gon' give it to you straight. The facts we can debate, but one false move and it's a checkmate. Ay, yes, we the radio pundits and we're Hey, good day, fine people. It's another week, and it's another round of Unfiltered with Ernest, J. Lee, and Uncle Ron, along with Laurel. Of course, it's our distinct pleasure to come to you each week to give you our take on the goings-on in the world as we see it. And yes, straight into the point like we always do. You know, people like facts, and so do we. And that's why we come to you with the mindset of just saying what it is. You know, it is what it is, like they say. Again, that's why we call this show Unfiltered. So please start right quick and let someone know that your favorite kin folks are on the air. And if they don't know the information to get with us right now, then give it to them. Let them know what to do. Let them know how to log on, whatever they need to do. Tell them to go and join the party off for the next hour. Also, if you missed any of our past shows, we have a solution for you. Simply log on to www.spreaker.com. That's just like speaker, but with an R. So Spreaker.com. All you do is search Ernest J. Lee Unfiltered. And then there, you can find us and follow us and get connected just like that. And also, for all your iPhone users of the world, I know it's a lot of y'all. I'm Team Droid, but it's all good. You too can be a part of the action. I know you're asking how, right? So look, just go to the iTunes store, search the same name, and guess what? Voila, you can subscribe and connect right there. And guess what, y'all? It's all for free. Now, ain't that a blessing, Uncle Ron?
It's a wonderful blessing. It sure is.
You know. All right, now, before we go on, since he already talked, let me introduce my co-host for today. You know him. He's the incomparable Mr. Tenor Extraordinaire himself. You know, the one and only, Mr. Ron Kelly. My dude, man, what's going on, man? You yet holding on?
I'm yet holding on to God's unchanging hand. Yes, I am.
I'm still holding on to his hand.
I like that. I like that.
You like that?
When you dug for that.
But see, you can't do it with. You got to do it with the slow vibrato, Doc. It's a little sharp too. Uncle Ron, do you be singing like that in the choir when you sing for the company? Do you sing sharp?
No, I do not. No,
sing on the note?
I don't sing sharp or flat. Let's get it.
You know what?
Call it what you want.
So you saying you ain't never sang sharp or flat?
Did I stutter?
Grand. You know what? You are so grand. You know, I know you. You know, you can be heard on various recordings around the gospel industry, but I'm not impressed.
What can I say?
You didn't catch that I didn't use the ED on that?
No, I missed that.
I said I'm not impressed, but
you're not impressed
because my heart is fixed, Doc, and my mind made up.
It's fixed. Am I any?
It's made up, Doc. Because I am fired up.
My mind.
You know what?
EBB.
That's a speaking in tongue class, and I'm not going for that today. You need to come back tomorrow, Doc, because you might purge. Do you see that? I don't know if you got it the way I got it, Doc. See, when we just get it back in the day, we had the Terry. You just they lay hands on you, just fall out and come up safe.
Well, we was taught just to wait. We didn't have to do all that falling out and flowing at the mouth. You just wait.
That's what Terry means, Uncle Ron. You
know,
Jesus,
not in a Pentecostal circle.
Did. No, I'm in Pentecostal circle, not Terry for it, which just means wait.
You waited.
Yeah, until he came down. Hiya.
Or did you say, thank you, Jesus, 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 thank you, Jesus.
You know what? I'm not, don't y'all get mad at Uncle Ron for mocking y'all. No, as a matter of fact, we said hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. See, they after a while, Doc, you can't say it, you just going in. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Then they be like, come on, yes, that's it. No more English.
That's it.
I just can't. I get confused, Doc. Do you? Okay, let me just say this before I go on. So my mother works in the what we call the Terrying room, and years ago, she told the man no more English. You know, he was trying to come on through. She said no more English, Doc. Guess what this joker said?
What?
Andale.
Shut up.
Okay. I'm about to. I'm calling my mom on the phone so she can tell you that's what the man said. Anyway, y'all, we already locked and loaded. So look, we have a great show lined up today for you. We're continuing our discussion about the food chain in America on a very serious note and some of the things that we need to be on the lookout for. I mean, this stuff is, the more you read, the more you research, the more you find out. And all this sickness and disease is definitely out of control. But we must really just start to look simply at what we're eating. I mean, that's not going to cure it all, but that's a good start. So make sure you pay attention to that today. Of course, we have some hot new indie music and much more. So come on the radio and chill with us for the next hour while we ride this wave, y'all. But you already know what the first stop is. Uncle Ron, it's your time to be the pettiest man on earth. So with that, what you got for us, home team?
Well, I'm really a little irritated right now, but I'm going to go on in the name of the Lord.
Why'd you irritate
with my computer? My computer is just really, it needs to be cast out.
The computer,
but nevertheless, yeah, it needs to be cast out.
It got a malfunction spirit.
Right.
Anyway,
so somebody need to come and lay hand on it. Yeah, but nevertheless. Well, there's a story about a man who broke into a church in Connecticut and he stole $3,000 worth of electronics. Apparently, he began to have remorse, so he left an apology note. That was nice of him. A considerate thief. But so police do have, okay, pull yourself together. Police have released a video of the man, they say, who broke into the Mount Olive AME Zion Church in Waterbury at about 1 a.m. Sunday and stole cameras, monitors, and a microphone used to broadcast religious services. Ain't that a mess? But this is the kicker. Members of that particular church told the parishioners at WVIT TV that he also left a note that said, "Pray for me. Sorry, brothers. Save me," and drew a little sad face. Okay, but guess what? As a good Christian would do, one of the members of the church says that the members of the congregation heeded the note and prayed for the suspect at a later service.
Well, how did they know his name? Just said the man that stole our, help me, Lord, I can't cuss today. The man that stole our stuff.
They didn't never call his name.
Right. So said the man.
How did they pray for him? Well, God knew who he was.
Well, you got to be Pacific in your prayer.
You need to be Pacific. That's true. I believe that. But God knows all and he sees all.
We're going to fall under the criminals with compassion.
Criminals.
With compassion.com.
Right.
Well, what did he steal? Oh, you already said it. So what kind of alarm system did they have that he had time to steal the stuff, take it outside, and write a note, Doc?
It wasn't a good one. I can tell you that. But you know what? It may have been an inside job. What you think? Something.
You know what? The more I teach you, the dumber I get. Anyway, listen, we're going to get to some music. We'll be right back with more rather than this. Now, church, just lock up your equipment. Hide your kids, hide your wife, lock your equipment up. Mm-hmm. All right, they on the loose out here.
They sure is.
Come on, everybody, lift your hands up and let's going to give God some praise. Because God is worthy of the honor, worthy of the praise. For the Bible says, for the rising of the sun, to the going down of the same, God is worthy. Woo! Come on. Say, I'm praising. Gonna do it in my hands. I'm gonna praise. I gotta do it in my dance. Say, I'll praise him. You gotta do it with your voice. Say, I'm gonna praise him. Come on, let's rejoice. Say it now, praise him. Come on. I praise him. Gonna do in my hands. I gotta do it in my dance. I'm gonna praise him. Say I'm gonna praise him. Come on, let's rejoice. Listen, I'm gonna praise the Lord while I have chains. I'm gonna thank the Lord. Thank him in advance. All of the things that the Lord has brought me through. I'm gonna praise the Lord. And this is what I'm gonna do. Gonna sing the praise before the king. I'm gonna send up my praise before my king. Gonna send the praise before the king. I don't care what nobody else does. I ain't gotta praise the Lord. I gotta say yeah. Oh yeah. Come on and help me say. Oh yeah. Say yeah. Come on, say yeah. Yeah. Come on, I know you're feeling it right now. Where you are riding in your car, or you're on your job. Listen, let's make the devil mad. Say, I will praise him. Woo, yeah. Gonna praise the Lord while I got this chance. I gotta give him the praise. I gotta wave my hand. I gotta do my dance. I gotta praise the Lord. I will praise him early in the morning, in the midnight hour. I praise the Lord. I will praise him. Hey, woo. Come on and clap your hands. Everybody clap your hands. Come on and clap your hands. Come on and give God some praise. Say, I will praise him. Yeah. Has he been good? Has he made a way? Has he brought you out? You ought to help me say, oh, I will. Yes, I will. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, I will. He's been too good for me to just sit in my seat. He made a way for me. Come on and clap your hands and help me pray. How many know he's good? Yes, he is. Can I get a witness? Somebody ought to be a witness. Can I get a witness? Ow! Ow!
Hello, everybody. This is Minister James A. Willis, and I'm locked into Unfiltered with my brothers Ernest J. Lee and Uncle Ron. Stay tuned for more gospel.
With the radio pundits and we're unfiltered.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What up, though? This is E. Lee. And listen, I know we're not doing the trending news this week since Laurel has the week off, but I wanted to stop and make sure that I paid homage to this American icon. And I'm talking about none other than Senator John McCain. Look, we must give honor to whom honor is due. And I, for one, keep a close eye on politics. And I know that senator was not only an awesome man, but also a great American. He embodied the ideas and values that this country was built upon. This decorated soldier survived captivity as a POW for 5 years during the Vietnam War, where he was tortured and humiliated. But even in that, y'all, he never gave up. That's a testimony within itself. That alone is worthy of a standing ovation, y'all. Yes, he was dubbed a maverick, but that was because he was willing to disagree with his own party on certain issues. And that, again, is rare these days when it's hard to get people to reach across the aisles and agree on anything. So we here on the Unfiltered Show would like to extend our deepest sympathy to his family during this time. He will truly be missed. I want to also again acknowledge the Queen of Soul, who will be laid to rest this Friday in my hometown of Detroit. And I heard Detroit has already showed up and showed out during this week's activities thus far. So I know the rest of the week's events will be epic as well. Also, Uncle Ron, who's my co-host, is a part of the celebration choir, which will be performing during these events as well. So we're proud of him for that. Now, even during these celebrations and all these people around and they're celebrating Aretha, the Queen of Soul, let's continue to remember her family in our thoughts and prayers. Because when everybody's gone and when all the lights are turned off and when everybody's by themselves again, that's when reality is going to set back in. So let's keep them in our thoughts and prayers for sure. So, all right, y'all, before we get into this discussion for the day, let's get back to some of this dope music. All right? Keep it locked right here. It's Unfiltered, y'all.
I'm in Major Grammar Studios. Rockin' beats by Daz. Big chillin'. My mood big chillin'. Flesh is weak, spirit willin'. Cutting block for a feeling. What it's like when you win it. Got the devil head spinning. Camel soup, chicken dinner. Now they mad cause the church boy got flow. Resume so fulfilling. Royal priesthood melanin. Bread and wine my supplement. Body of Christ my government. Right to see lives resurrect. Drifting black must shiver fat. There you my weed like a jumping jack. So many knives down in my back. Caught a fish friend throwing back. It's all good when they using you. For opportunities to make the news. The word Ernest start Rolodex. You killed your bro for a pulpit check. And them secrets that you're telling them, they keep it when you're selling them. But as soon as it don't need you no more, they assassinate your character with no rope. Hit them motors, got them striving with no hope. Such a whip and they couldn't find no dope. That's a 12 did me, welcome to the Sip Coast. That's why I keep the blood high on my dope post. That's why I keep the blood high on my dope post. My mood big chillin'. Flesh is weak, spirit willin'. Cutting block for a feeling. What it's like when you win it. Got the devil head spinning. Camel soup, chicken dinner. Now they mad cause the church boy got flow. Resume so fulfilling. I spent the FaceTime with the father for some therapy. Life on the front line, up in casualties is the remedy. I get the giant cause I'm in the place that David be. Big chillin'. No weapon formed against me. Even Monica Lewinsky. Riding bikes on 10th Street. Even when they wish death on me. My DNA is a church boy. No rock boy, no block boy. And failure is not a choice. That's why I put my faith in the Lord. There's some exes in the room tonight. Same boy. Covered in the blood. Let ride. Wild honey and locust.
There's some exes in the room tonight. Woo, woo, covered in the blood.
Hey, put your seatbelt on. Let ride.
Move. What? My mood big chillin'.
Flesh
is weak, spirit willin'. Cutting block for a feeling. What it's like when you win it. Got the devil head spinning. Camel soup, chicken dinner. Now they mad cause the church boy got flow. Resume so fulfilling. I spent the FaceTime with the father for some therapy. Life on the front line, up in casualties is the remedy. I get the giant cause I'm in the place that David be. Big chillin'.
This is A. Sanford, and I'm locked into Unfiltered with Ernest J. Lee and Uncle Ron. Be blessed.
Like a lotus, I grew through the mud. I stayed focused, got strength from above. My emotions, mind over matter. Nothing else matters except I succeed. I believe in me.
Hi, this is Jay Elise, and I'm locked in on Unfiltered with Ernest J. Lee and Uncle Ron. Keep it locked.
We're keeping it 100, unfiltered, with the radio pundits, and we're unfiltered.
What's up, y'all? This is Ernest J. Lee. We're back here on Unfiltered, live and living color. Ernest J. Lee and Uncle Ron. So, we've been talking the last few weeks on both our last couple shows just about the food and how safe or not safe it is. Well, last week we had a different show, but we did mention it in one of our segments about the food. And I just felt the need, because I got so much feedback on the first show that we did a few weeks ago about the food. I wanted to kind of hit it again, because there's so much information out there about this GMO seeds, and we need to separate the facts from the fiction and the myths. But I always say, where there's smoke, there's fire. So, I, for one, have a problem with any country that doesn't look out for their citizens. I'm not saying I'm against the USA, because I'm not. But I'm saying, the United States has such lax laws as it relates to the GMOs. I mean, I think, in this country, a lot of people are just profiting off of bad stuff. So, that's not the topic of this conversation today. But, first we need to consider, are GMOs safe? The GMOs, we already know, are genetically modified organisms. Basically, it's like plants and animals that are created through the gene splicing techniques in biotechnology. So that's genetic engineering, basically. So what that means is some of the food that we eat just technically is not real. Like I heard somebody say about, the other day I was out of town, and someone was saying about tilapia and the fact that it doesn't have any bones at all. And it's not really a fillet. You know what I'm saying? So, any fish without bones, I'm kind of scared of that. I'm just saying, some of the stuff, I never heard of tilapia 15 years ago. Did you, Uncle Ron?
Yeah. About around that same time. I don't eat tilapia either.
Well, okay. So, let's just say it like this. So, you got farming, fish farms. We know that. So, again, but is that still genetically modified? Because that's not, I don't know, what fish is a tilapia?
I don't, that's a good question. But I saw one of those farms on one of those documentaries or whatever. And it looks like they're in there eating for I think something similar to boo-boo.
Yikes.
Yeah.
The tilapias or the fish farms in general?
Well, the fish that are in those farms are fed boo-boo to stay alive, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
Are you serious?
I wish I wasn't.
Yikes.
But
that goes to show you what I'm saying, though. Because, again, we're talking about what's genetically modified and what's real. Now, the only thing is, now they're talking about fish, and you say wild caught fish is still, they have a lot of mercury in the water, they say. So, it's not saying one is over the other. But, again, if somebody's genetically modifying something, that means they can put in it what they want to put in it. So I'm just concerned about, I guess my point in doing this topic is this, how sickly we are as Americans as a whole. Because just think about this. 61 countries around the world, like Australia, Japan, all the countries in Europe, they got significant restrictions and basically outright bans on the production and sale of GMOs. You know what I'm saying? So in the U.S., the government has approved GMOs based on studies conducted by the same corporations that created them and profit off of them. So think about it. That's just like saying, I'm going to let you do the research and development on the product and you just tell me what it is, but we're not going to really check what you say. Mm-hmm. That's kind of scary. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't even think that GMOs are properly labeled either. The majority of Americans, want to know what food they're purchasing, of course, and what GMOs do it contain. But some of them not even properly labeled. So how do you really know what you're eating? That's what I'm saying. So, you have to start thinking about, why are we so sickly? Mm-hmm. Think about this. GMOs are in as much as 80% of conventional processed food.
Wow.
And I think 2 weeks ago we said what it was, 68 companies, was it? 68 companies that are owned by Monsanto. Over 80% of all GMOs grown in the world are engineered for herbicide tolerance. So that's when we were talking about the Roundup and all that kind of stuff. And that has increased 15 times over since GMOs were introduced. So when they first started with the GMOs, it's been increased 15 times over. So now it's super toxic. So check it out. So stuff like Roundup and stuff like that can only be killed by even more toxic poison like Agent Orange.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like GMOs, they're like a direct extension of the chemical agriculture. And they're sold and developed by the world's biggest chemical companies. Again, like I just said, so you're going to develop this product, but we're going to let you do the research and development on it, and we're not going to really watch it. I mean, that is like scary if you think about it. It's not spreading fear, but it's like, man, you really got to understand what we're eating.
That's true.
You know, and I think a lot of people have, you know, there's myths, of course, and there's real facts, of course, but we want to know, are they safe? You know what I'm saying? So I know a lot of people are taking matters into their own hands, you know, and choosing to opt out of the GMO experiment. But really, how do you know where it's coming from? I think my brother told me some months ago that I didn't see this per se, but he said that he had saw some report where the USDA said they don't have to tell you where they're getting the stuff from.
I believe that.
What does that say about, you know, what we're eating? I mean, what does that say about, you know, what we're taking into our bodies and why we're so sickly and all this kind of stuff?
Well, if you are a conspiracy theorist, it's used for population control.
Right.
So apparently, even with the genetically modified food and all of that, it's not enough food to feed all the people. So we produce and sell these foods that we know that if the person don't die, at least they'll be critically ill. I think there's more to it than we really know and we'll be ever privy to, but I'm very leery of that.
Well, see, that goes back to the thing about, I mentioned on that show also about the documentary, What the Health, and they were saying that basically it's all in cahoots together. So you get a disease or whatever, and it's going to keep you sick. So basically, when you start going to the doctor and get treated for this stuff, it really ain't even treating you. It's just basically prolonging the inevitable. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, you know, you screwed. The instability of health since these seeds have been used is just breathtaking. After the introduction of GMOs, chronic illnesses, food allergies, and disorders like reproductive and digestive ones have increased with the same timing. So ain't nobody paying attention to that?
Nope.
Wow. The chemicals that they're spreading stuff with can cause more health problems than the food we eat, because now they're spraying it with it, so it's basically growing within the food.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't read, I guess, for lack of a better term. We don't know. We just eat. We don't know what's in it, what the effects of it can be. And I'm guilty of that. Mm-hmm. But I'm trying to be more conscientious about what I do put into my body, because I do believe that God wants us to live a healthy and prosperous life. And you can't do that if you're in the doctor's office all the time and eating stuff that he didn't create. Man has created. So if man is creating it, I'm scared of it.
Right. Especially when you ain't got no legal label requirements. In other words, there's not a law that says you have to even put a sticker on what it is. You know, some stuff is labeled non-GMO. But the fact is, there's a lot of people consuming foods that don't have a label at all. You know, and they basically unaware of what they're actually consuming. We're at the end of August. It's been about a year since I've had chicken or beef. It doesn't mean that I'm healthier than the next person, but I'd rather just take the easier path. So my whole thing is, I'd rather just say, hey, look, I'm not saying I'm not going to ever eat it again, but I know I feel much better without, you know, eating some of that stuff. You know, as you get older, it has a negative long-term impact on you. So you don't know exactly what the risks are. I mean, because it hasn't really been studied enough yet. But we know, since it's not real, basically, the effects that GMOs will have on the human race is kind of really unknown. Powerful monopolies like what? Monsanto, like we mentioned before, they're genetically engineering company. They control 90% of the modified foods worldwide. So that's basically complete control over what we eat.
Mm-hmm. Wow. And you don't really have a whole lot of choices. Right. Unless you're, you know, starting your own farms.
Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is that genetically modified foods are just not natural, bro. I don't care what people say, they ain't even been proven to be safe. And in America, they're not even labels to inform the consumers what they're about to eat has been genetically modified in a lab and not from the earth.
Have you seen that video where, I don't know what country it's in, but it looks like an Asian person. Mm-hmm. And they start with some kind of liquid. And by the end of the process, it's lettuce. It ain't lettuce that you would think that was grown from the, you know, planted in the ground and it grew up to be a head of lettuce. This man, and they show the video from beginning to end, where he's got this not silver, but this metal container like you put food in, and when they do it in the restaurants and whatnot. But anyway, he's constantly doing something with his hands cameras on his hands all the while. By the end of the video, he has created a head of lettuce. It's amazing.
Wow.
So I'm wondering if that lettuce is being shipped overseas, whether it's in the United States or Europe or whatever. But it was amazing.
That is ridiculous, man. Really.
Yep.
Of course, everybody's seen this, I'm sure. When they put the hamburger from McDonald's out on the counter, it never turned, it never got old. It just stayed the same. Over 30 days, I believe it was. Did you see that?
That's kind of like somebody said that they stopped calling KFC Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Because it ain't real chicken.
Well, and I was just in Dallas last week, and then I came back to home to Atlanta, and I was just looking at all of these restaurants selling all the chicken. And I, both places I just mentioned are huge places. And all this chicken and all this stuff, man, where are they getting all this chicken from? Like, seriously. Like, it has to be modified genetically. Mm-hmm. Because I'm saying, there's no way in the world you can keep up with that. I mean, every place that you go to have chicken. Now, with that, I've come across, of course, you're going to get people to say it's good and some of the stuff is just considered conspiracy theories. Then you're going to have, it's going to be arguments on both sides. So, I'm not saying that this is 100% fact, but the information needs to be out there. Basically, genetic engineering creates dangerous side effects. When you mix genes from totally unrelated species, genetic engineering unleashes a host of unpredictable side effects. And it's almost like, you remember the Nutty Professor? And he was mixing up that stuff to make him slim down and stuff like that. And then he had all those problems. I mean, what's the difference? Think about that. He would go from fat to skinny. And then, but he didn't have it all the way perfected yet. So it was a lot of side effects. So think about that. I mean, who's to say that they got these seeds totally perfected already? And there's no side effects at all.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I think what the biggest issue with all this is the government oversight is dangerously lax. In other words, they ain't got too many laws that's governing this, and it's political.
Mm-hmm.
The FDA, they say, don't even require a single safety study. It don't mandate labeling. It allows companies to put their own GM foods onto the market, even without notifying the agency. In other words, me and Uncle Ron's popcorn, we just put it out today. Well, we don't know where that came from.
That's true.
How they justify those, they say they have no information showing that the GM foods are substantially different. But see, that's where the lie is. Because I think a couple years ago, a secret agency memo was made public by a lawsuit to show the overwhelming consensus that even among the FDA's own scientists, they concluded that GMOs can create unpredictable, hard to detect side effects. Now, that's on the secret memo that was made public by a lawsuit. Now, ever since the September 11th, 2001 attacks, when they did the Patriot Act, another one of those things was the Freedom of Information Act. So everything now is public. So when you get sued, you get a divorce, or whatever you get, it's all public records. That's why you can't hide nothing no more. So now they're saying these memos have been made public through a lawsuit to show that the FDA's own scientists, that's the government's, the Food and Drug Administration, their own scientists have said that they can create unpredictable, hard to detect side effects.
Wow. I mean, what can you really say to that?
And then think about this. So independent research and reporting like we're doing is usually often attacked and suppressed. And that's why I said sometimes when you look at Google, when you're trying to find stuff on Google, you're going to get most of the stuff that's good and pro is going to be for using it, because that's the ones that's controlling all the information. They don't want you to think anything wrong with it. Yeah, when you denigrate a person by making their research seem like it's just not true, and like this memo came public, then what does that say? What are they trying to do? But that's why on this show we like to give facts, and when you back up your facts, it can't be denied. That's what I'm going to do right here. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, I'm going to play a clip of David Icke. His clip is entitled "Be Careful What You Eat." He's going to give some good information, then we'll be right back to discuss it further. Y'all keep it locked right here. Unfiltered.
What's up, y'all? This your boy Larell, co-host of the Unfiltered Show with Ernest, J. Lee, and Uncle Ron. Listen, do you have a new single that you want played on air? Well, send it in and let us check it out. We're now accepting new music for our show. Also, if you have any music requests, send those in as well. Hit us up at the Unfiltered Radio Show at gmail.com. That's the Unfiltered Radio Show at gmail.com. Send us that new fire and let us make some joyful noise for the kingdom, y'all.
With the radio pundits and we're unfiltered.
The body computer on one level is an electrochemical entity, organism, and it has need to have a certain chemical and electrical balance to function mentally, emotionally, and physically in its optimum state. So what they're doing now is bombarding us, and have been for some time, especially young people, children, with all this electrochemical crap to destabilize the body computer and its receiver transmission levels, so that we are operating on a fraction of our potential. Same with the drugs that they're throwing at people, not least the children. So many of these people, these kids that go crazy with guns, almost all of them in the end turn out to be drugged up with this stuff. Aspartame, the sugar substitute, is a brain suppressant and rewirer, which was brought onto the market as head of Searle Pharmaceuticals by this guy, Donald Rumsfeld, who keeps coming up in many guises, who sold out for a fortune to Monsanto, who now own aspartame. Fluoride, that lady Anna Bligh up in Queensland is putting fluoride in the Queensland water. They put it in the water of concentration camps in Germany to suppress and make docile the inmates. Fluoride is a brain suppressant. Monsanto, again, comes up again and again. The home of genetically modified food. Why? Because it's to genetically modify us. Genetically modified food affects human DNA. And I'll give you an example of just how detailed this is, because what it comes down to on so many levels is there is a level of knowledge here about how everything works, and then there's a level of knowledge that the public are allowed to have. I'll tell you a story I came across only last week. We have a treatment for cancer called chemotherapy, which is equivalent for most people to assisted suicide. Stone Age medicine. What chemotherapy does, as we are at the cutting edge of knowledge, is kills cells. That's what it does. It kills cells. It doesn't kill cancer cells only, it kills all cells. And the question is, do we kill enough healthy cells to kill the patient before we've killed the cancer cells to rid of the cancer? So what they're doing now is, some people anyway, they're trying to find drugs or a biomarker that will put into cancer cells which will only track the drug and the healthy cells won't. What it turns out, actually, this guy, Professor Dan Burke, and in Britain, has established, is that cancer cells already have a biomarker, and have always had a biomarker, and he's called it CYP1B1. It is an enzyme that only appears in cancer cells and not healthy cells. What he then did was get with another man, Professor Potter at Leicester University, who came up with a substance found in many fruit and vegetables, which is called salvestrols. That's what they call it. And they found this. The CYP1B1 enzyme, only in cancer cells, interacts with salvestrols that we get from fruit and vegetables and turns it into a cancer-killing agent. So we have had a natural cancer response system. As long as we eat fruit and vegetables in rich numbers with these salvestrols in them, when we get a cancer cell, the CYP1B1 enzyme within the cancer cell, but not in the healthy one, creates a chemical reaction with the salvestrols and kills the cancer cell. And doesn't harm normal cells. You get salvestrols in those fruit and vegetables that are subject to fungal attack, because the salvestrols are what the fruit and vegetables produce to deal with a fungus attack. And the reason salvestrols work against cancer, because we're going to find out, and it's going to be established eventually, cancer is actually a form of fungal attack on the body. Now, this is where I'm going. In the 1950s, they introduced chemical farming. From the 1950s, we have had an epidemic of cancer in the Western world. So what is the effect of this? Because they've been using fungicides on fruit and vegetables, they've been killing the funguses and the fungal attacks artificially, which means the fruit and vegetable plants are no longer producing salvestrols to deal with the fungal attack because it's being done externally for them. But here's the killer, that they know what they're doing. The most used fungicides used in the world have another effect. They neutralize the effect of CYP1B1, the enzyme in cancer cells. So you can eat all the salvestrols you like, but if your body accumulates the fungicide poisons through eating these foods, it won't matter anyway, because the salvestrol will not be activated as a cancer-killing agent because the enzyme within the cancer cell has been neutralized. And after 20 years of research of these people, that is absolutely no accident. They know exactly what they're doing. And that's why in America now, this bill is going through to make it virtually impossible for people to produce organic food in America when this bill goes through. Because if you eat organic fruit and vegetables of this type, then they are rich in salvestrols because they're still producing them to fight off fungal attack because there's no fungicide getting in the way. Vaccines. 25 vaccines by the age of 2. An emerging, growing immune system gets attacked with that shite in that period of time, and we think that children are going to grow into adults with immune systems that are as effective as they could be. You're having a bloody laugh. And these things that vaccines were supposed to get rid of were in free fall before the vaccines came in. Another scam. And of course, the immune system is the antivirus system. If that's not working, we become open to endless other attacks, which is what chemotherapy does in cancer treatment. It kills the cells in the immune system, which is why people that have chemotherapy have shot immune systems that are open to other things. And so there's also an attack going on now, as we've seen through this organization trying to reduce the doses and the sources of food supplements and stuff. It's all an attack. This guy, Codex Alimentarius, which is trying to create regulations that basically make food supplements and other things a waste of time because of the doses and the quality of them. And Codex Alimentarius came out of the people behind the IG Farben chemical cartel, pharmaceutical cartel that was behind the Auschwitz concentration camps and much more. And this guy, Fritz Tamir, who was jailed by the Nuremberg trials for 7 years for war crimes and was got out after 4 thanks to Nelson Rockefeller, his friend in America. He was the man with others in the 1960s that set up Codex Alimentarius, which is now trying to destroy our ability to bridge the gap between what we used to get from fruit and vegetables and food and we don't get now. It's mass culling of the population. That's what they're after. And international law, international regulations is the way they're doing it. The reason international law is the code word or term that you see all the time now is because if you want a world government dictatorship, you have to have laws that everyone on the planet obeys and has to obey. That's where your dictatorship comes from. And that's why international law, international regulations are coming up everywhere. Same with this electromagnetic suit that we live in now. It's attacking the body electromagnetically and electrically to stop us operating on the level that we can. Before we have a break, I'll just finish with this.
We're keeping it 100. Unfiltered, with the radio pundits and we're unfiltered.
Hey, this is Uncle Ron, one half of the new show Unfiltered. Listen, do you want to advertise or even be featured on one of our shows? Make sure you reach out to us and let us know. Email us at the unfilteredradioshow@gmail.com. Also, if you have any show topics and or questions that you would like for us to tackle, please feel free to let us know. We would love to hear from you. Make sure you keep it locked right here on Holla. Hey y'all, it's me, Uncle Ron, and we're back here on Unfiltered, and we're continuing our conversation regarding the food supply chain here in America. Now, what struck me was one of the first things that I noticed was when this gentleman mentioned that aspartame is used pretty much in everything that we eat, which is it's like a sugar substitute. And it's a brain suppressant. And I found that to be very interesting. We also acknowledge that young children, by the time they're 2 years old, they will have received 25 vaccinations. Now, in my generation, we didn't get a lot of vaccinations. Or maybe 1 or 2, but that wasn't something that was common in our environment or in our neighborhood, if you will. He also mentioned about chemotherapy, which is really not good. And we pretty much kind of put 2 and 2 together and figure that out. But he said chemotherapy can be also called assisted suicide.
Wow.
Yeah, just crazy. The interesting thing that he did say, if I've heard him correctly, is that if we feed ourselves strictly, for the most part, fruits and vegetables, we have a great chance of fighting off cancer and any fungal diseases. So I guess some of us, or all of us, if we're really concerned about our health, we really need to be conscientious about what we're taking in, because, you know, they say garbage in, garbage out when it comes to computers and all of that. So when we take in garbage, we can't expect anything but to put garbage out, so to speak. It's really kind of scary, because we don't really have a whole lot of control over what we're consuming unless we start our own farms. And then I seem like I heard Laurel say that it's against the law to start a farm in your neighborhood or something like that.
Ain't that something?
Yeah, it's incumbent upon myself to make sure that I'm doing all that I can to be here a little while and take in the things that I know that are going to be good for me and not necessarily bad for me. But it's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, see, the thing is, with the vaccinations, there are so many people that are for it. Of course, even our last president had an initiative to keep your kids vaccinated. You know, my whole thing is, you hear so many people saying that they are bad, then you hear some people saying they're good. Now, I know some people have this thing out there, and I have to research it more, and we'll get back with it on another show, but they saying that the vaccinations in the black community, in particularly, they are pushing, and that's why a lot of our black kids are coming up more and more with autism.
That's true. I heard. I don't know it's true, but I've heard that.
Right. So, you know, this is some of the reasons why we need to be, as you said, conscientious about not only what we eat, but also what we're giving our kids. Because even like I mentioned on the other show, the documentary, they were saying that a lot of this stuff is targeted toward kids, because what it does is it creates a lifelong health challenge, basically. I know I'm saying it differently, but then they said it. But what I mean is, if you start a kid out early needing care, then basically they follow that on to their adulthood, where they, you know, have these things following them through their adult years. And it kind of basically, you know, just snowballs into something when you get older. And then that's why you get so many people being sick these days. Because even if we get the knowledge and we change our eating habits, of course, you know, after you get a certain age, you've already done a lot of damage to your body. But if you start where you are, then you have a better chance at least of reversing some of this stuff. But again, if you don't know that your children are the target, you can get yourself straight but think that they fine. You know, how many mothers do you know, and not bless their heart, I'm not trying to talk about them, but they'll stop because they ain't got time, and they'll stop at McDonald's every day and get them kids to McDonald's every day. I mean, think about that. You know, that can't be healthy to eat that every day. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't have time, and I understand you don't have time. Well, hey, I do it. Not since I've been eating, not eating beef though, but I will stop and get me a fish sandwich from McDonald's or some fries. But that stuff, man, ain't no good for you. But we live in such a fast-paced society that we have to, you know, stop and get us some fast food. That's what it's called, fast food. Mm-hmm. But again, all these fast food places, what are they actually serving us? When I stopped eating beef and chicken, it wasn't because I'm trying to do it forever, but what happened was I was working out last year and I was not losing any weight. So someone spoke to me clearly and said, change your diet. And I know it sounds simple, and it was simple. I'm not saying God told me that. I'm just saying something spoke to me. My mind just said, hey, change your diet. And what I did was I said, well, I don't really eat sweets. I don't really eat this and that already. But I said, well, what can I change? And what I did was I started with not eating the beef and chicken. And after about 30 days, I lost 15 pounds. And that's why I stopped doing it, because I'm like, okay, well, this is making me feel this much better. And I'm not even trying to eat, not eat like junk food or anything like that. I just stopped eating beef and chicken, because I know chicken, because of the stuff that they put in it, will cause like inflammation in your body and all that kind of stuff. And my back used to hurt, especially by me sitting on the organ all these years and, you know, sitting down and reducing. Like my back would always be tight. But when I stopped eating the chicken and all that stuff, it really did make me feel better. So this is the reason why I said I think it's a direct result of our diet. Sometimes when you're not feeling good, you got to really see what you eat, man. It's okay to stop your system for a while. I don't know, my pastor used to say back in the day, he used to make a joke about it, but it was serious. You need to shut that body down anyway, from eating all that stuff, and give it a break, once a month at least. Go a couple of days without eating all that stuff and watch you feel better. It's our job on this show to give us information and to give us facts and statistics. Man, I must say that I'm truly enjoying these discussions about our food chain. This is some good stuff, man, because like I said earlier, the more you research, the more you know. You'll never know enough about anything. So always, always, always get more information. The more information you have, the better you can live, the better you can make decisions. So with that, man, before we go, let's have some fun, Uncle Ron. You know how we do. Now, I know that you got some Facebook posts of the week that you just got to address. So go on and give it to us, man.
Well, here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go around the mulberry bush. One of our submissions, if you will, said that the Lord is a rewarder to those that diligently see him. So I don't know what diligently see him means, but maybe they're trying to say diligently seek him. I'm not sure, because you just never know what would be on people's minds. Then there's another one that says, God always complete what he started. He that started a good work in you is faithful to bring it to pass. Have a great day, fam. Okay, amen.
All right, Uncle Ron, right here, let's do a Facebook post that does not make any sense by a word that's used in it. I know you got one of those.
Let's see here. Well, this one don't make no sense to me. And you can tell me what you feel. They say, you're tired of that situation. Make a consuming decision. Seek Jesus now. Just give it to him and watch God move. Amen.
Make a what?
Make a consuming decision. A decision that is consumed. If by seeking Jesus now, just give it to him and watch God move.
Decision. So, amen. So a consuming decision. Okay, what do you think that means? Make a consuming decision.
I would like to think, this is just me, a conscientious decision. That's what I would think.
Well, they probably ain't gonna use that big word. Maybe maybe they was trying to say make a conscious decision.
Or maybe a conscious decision. I don't believe that, but maybe.
Conscientious might be out of their ballpark, Doc. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Consuming is too, but nobody asked me.
Okay, give us one more for the night, Doc.
God words say, if you speak it and doubt not, it shall come to pass. Amen.
Well, it's supposed to be past, not past. Oh, the past? Dead. I'm LD tonight. Right? It's come to pass. It's supposed to be come to past.
PASS?
No, I said I'm LD. Oh. It is supposed to be past.
Right, that's what I thought. No, you got me thinking I'm dumb. I'm done.
The Lord is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him, Doc.
Diligently. I'm done. But
I need to make a consumer decision and end this show for the day. But
I concur 100%.
All right, y'all. We hope you enjoyed this show this week. Look, man, watch what you eating out there for real, for real. It's getting real out here with this food. Like, seriously, if you feel like you are not feeling your best and you feel like that you could be feeling better, then take a look at your diet. I don't know why I keep saying that, but really, somebody that's listening tonight, I'm not trying to be deep, but I do have the gift now. Somebody, and I'm not even being general because I know this is going to sound general, but really, it's somebody out there that's having trouble with their body as it relates to their diet. It may be several of you out there that's listening, but listen to that voice that's in your head telling you to change your diet. Really, changing your diet could save your life. It ain't that serious to have health problems when you're trying to get older and trying to get around. God can use you, yes, but don't you want to be used when you're feeling good? Because if you don't feel like getting up, I talked about this last week with Jason Champion. If you don't feel good, when you get up to do what you're supposed to do for him, then how do you expect to be effective? These are times that we're living in. We have to be very conscious of the whole total man. It's not just spiritual. It's not just speaking in tongues, running to the walls, getting a prophecy, falling out, and repeat. It's also taking care of your body. A lot of people are getting very serious about it, which I thank God. You know, you see on social media, a lot of people are lifting weights and working out, but working out don't do you no good if you're still eating bad. And that's one thing that I had to learn. Just because you're working out and being fit on that does not mean that your body is still healthy, because you still got to change what you eat. A lot of people think just because you work out, you can eat what you want to eat. And that's just simply not true. So we're periodically going to continue these discussions, because I really believe that this information needs to be out there. And with all these listeners that we have from week to week, we have to be proactive in getting information out there to you. So again, we want to thank you for joining us every week. So also, y'all, keep in touch with us at the Unfiltered Radio Show at gmail.com and on Twitter at Show Unfiltered. Uncle Ron, you got anything for the people before we go?
In all reality, I do appreciate the opportunity to be with my brother here and my other nephew, Brother Laurel. And we're just looking for great things to happen as a result of this great opportunity and platform that we have here.
For sure, man. Now, with that, next week, y'all, we'll be back. Same time, same station, same people, same personalities. All right, y'all, we love you. Keep it locked right here on Unfiltered with Ernest J. Lynn, Uncle Ron, along with Laurel. We'll holler. Peace.
I holler.
You know, in the midst of these uncertain times, it's more important than ever to remember, don't give up.
Keep holding on. Just be strong.
Trials don't last long. Remember, God's right there, to hear your prayer. So don't give. Say